Hey, good morning everyone. Tuesday morning, the 28th of July 2020. This morning's devotion is a reading from Isaiah chapter 43 reading verse 1. It reads, "But now this is what the Lord says, He who created you, O Jacob, He who formed you, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." On Saturday morning, I was asked a question about fear. What is it to fear? What is fear? And what does it mean to fear God? I thought it prudent that perhaps for the next few days we have a look at this topic of fear, bearing in mind that I'm not a psychiatrist or a psychologist, and so I'm also treading deep water here. But what is fear? Fear is an emotion induced by perceived danger or threat, which causes physiological changes and ultimately behavioral changes, such as fleeing, hiding, or freezing from the perceived traumatic events. Fear in human beings may occur in response to a certain stimulus occurring in the present or in anticipation or expectation of a future threat perceived as a risk to oneself. The fear response arises from the perception of danger leading to confrontation with or escape from or avoiding the threat, also known as the flight or fight response, which in extreme cases of fear, horror and terror can be a freeze response or paralysis. In humans and animals, fear is modulated by the process of cognition and learning. Thus, fear is judged as rational or appropriate and irrational or inappropriate. Fear is closely related to the emotion anxiety, which occurs as the result of threats that are perceived to be uncontrollable or unavoidable. Used as a noun, fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by the threat of danger, pain, or harm. And one could use it, for example, I cowered in fear as bullets whizzed by. Used as a verb, fear is to be afraid of someone or something as likely to be dangerous, painful, or harmful. And an example of this would be, I hated him, but I didn't fear him anymore. So there's an English lesson as well in this devotion. An irrational fear is called a phobia. And there are many things that we are fearful of. And here are some of the most common phobias. Agoraphobia is known as a fear of open spaces. Acrophobia is a fear of heights, or I call it height fright. Claustrophobia is a fear of enclosed spaces. Entomophobia is a fear of insects. Cynophobia, fear of dogs. Astrophobia, the fear of storms. And there are many other phobias that one can merely have a look up and search them online. Believe you me, there are some phobias that are totally unpronounceable, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce them. This subject of fear is a very deep subject, and in the attempt to address this, I'm also very well aware and conscious of the fact that we will not touch on all aspects of fear. So, as I say, for the next few days, we will have a look at the topic of fear and see how we fare and how we are able to draw nearer to God, asking Him to deal with the fear that we have. In Matthew chapter 10, verse 28, Jesus offers us some sage wisdom, and it is on this wisdom that we should be focusing and drawing our inspiration on from God, not from the world or from man. My dear friends, my prayer is that we may bring our fears to the Lord, that we may entrust these fears to Him and ask Him to help us deal with them, that He may shine His light of peace and comfort upon us. May the Lord be with you, may He bless you, may He cause His face to shine upon you and be with you always. Goodbye.